All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another client interview. Today, we've got one of our longer term clients on. His name is Francesco. So, Francesco, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Very good, very good. Early in the morning here in the US.
Nice. You're in sunny Florida right now, right?
I am in Florida, yes. Yeah. This
Yeah,
week is
I'm
in
a, I'm
Florida.
a, I'm I'm in rainy Manchester. It's very rainy, and I'm jealous of the background there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful morning today. But I mean it's sometimes it's harder to be here because I can see the ocean from my window, but I am inside the office working.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a bit depressing. Um, Amazing. Well, thank you for coming on, Francesco. I mean, for the audience, do you just want to give a bit of an overview of yourself, kind of, yeah, like what you do for work and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So my name is Francisco. I do global commercial strategy for a large multinational. I have been doing this for 20 years. Um, and I travel quite a bit. I spend probably one third of the time on the road. Since we started working together 6 months ago, I guess. Um, I have traveled already to China, Japan, India, Spain, Portugal, France, the UK, um, and all those were business work and not counting vacation as well. So one third of the time I am on the road, which is fun, but it requires flexibility and that's I like doing it. That's the reason I am doing it.
Absolutely. I guess you get the benefits of traveling to new places. It's obviously quite novel, but I guess that comes with challenges as well in regards to like keeping to routine, health, fitness, that kind of thing. So, but before you came to us, I guess what kind of position were you in, like health wise? Like, what were some of the challenges you had and things like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I always try to stay. I try to be that try is a key word there. Try to be in shape. I I was somehow careful about what I ate. I'm not a pizza person or a cheeseburger. Um, but year over year, you see your weight increases a pound a year, the next year 2 pounds, et cetera, et cetera. So I was getting a belly. I was getting a belly. I had a belly. My cholesterol was higher. I started having some problems with blood pressure. Um, and as I was approaching the big 6-0, I said like, okay, I have to do something about it. And also, I think I mentioned, I was in China and it was a great trip, but I ate that was just outrageously. I mean, it was like an scandal, the amount of food that we ate in the trip. So I said, okay, I have to do something about it. And it was obviously that I doing it on my own wasn't working. That's the reason I kind of was looking for options. And it was right moment that you contacted me through, I don't know, some exchanges that we had had in Twitter or something like that.
Hmm. Awesome, man. No, amazing. And when you were going through those challenges, what were some of the things you were feeling day to day? So you mentioned there that you had a little bit of a belly. Like, how were your kind of energy levels, focus, sleep? Were any of those things you were like struggling with at the time?
Uh, well, I mean, when you are heavy, and we can jump forward about the progress that I have made. I have lost 30 pounds, so 35 pounds, I think, 35 pounds.
Yeah, 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like to have a vest of 35 pounds. For those that manage kilos is 15 kilos. You have a 15-kilo vest on your shoulders all the time. So I a little bit of pain on my knees, a little bit pain of certain joints. Um, it's not that I didn't have energy, but I wasn't satisfied with myself.
Hmm.
Uh, Clothing starts becoming tight. You don't want to admit it, but you start instead of buying the regular jeans, you start buying elastic jeans to feel more, to give you more room, and to feel more comfortable when you sit. Um, but more than nothing, it was the uncomfortable feeling that I needed to do something about it. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I felt kind of silly that I saw cholesterol levels going up a little bit higher and higher every year, and suddenly, my doctor last year 2 years ago said that I had to start taking statins because it was already not okay. And that started being a kind of weight because he started taking medicine just because I don't know, I'm not managing my health well enough. I feel it's not me. uh, so I really felt that I needed to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that you've lost 35 pounds since we started working together in about 6 months, which is,
Yeah.
fantastic progress. So like, how has that impacted you? Like what changes have you seen there in regards to that? Obviously there's the weight loss, which means you look better. I guess you feel more confident, but what has it kind of done to your day to day, do you think?
Yeah. So losing weight, surprisingly, I mean, there were moments that obviously you have to make a few minor sacrifices. Um, but working with Lloyd, I mean, Lloyd can testify. I think at the beginning I said, man, I am cutting calories and I am a little bit hungry. Um, we found ways of surprisingly increasing the volume of food, um, increasing the volume of food while reducing the calories. So I am having massive meals. Like sometimes I send pictures to Lloyd, and it takes me 45 minutes to be able to eat everything that I have on the plate.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Yeah, I think he's froze.
Or snack so continuously during the day. I don't feel I don't feel sleepy during the day either. I feel much more, as I said, satiated, and I do feel more energy. I do feel more energy. Um, and I feel great. I mean, I feel feeling in the gym. I feel great. I feel that I can run a marathon tomorrow if I need to. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try. Uh, but I feel very well. Yeah. And then
That's
also,
amazing.
looking in the mirror, I look great, and everybody's complimented. Everybody first asks me, "Are you sick?" because it's like a noticeable change in weight. I met a friend in a plane last week, and the plane landed, and you stand up to get off the plane, and suddenly I noticed that he was 2 rows in front of me. And he said that he had not recognized me because of how much I had lost, how much weight I had lost. Yeah. So people first ask me like, "Are you okay?" And then they say like, "This is fantastic. How do you do it? How do you do it?" Yeah, which is great. Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think one of the great things is you've been able to do this around having like a busy schedule, right? Like you said, you travel kind of 1/3 of the time. And, for a lot of people that may be, interested in coming into a program or, have a busy lifestyle like you, they're like, well, it's just not achievable to do this, right? They're like, well, I can't do this. I have so much travel. I'm in hotels, I'm in different locations. I'm just going to put it off. It's not possible. What would maybe your advice be to those people that have maybe similar positions to you?
Uh, no, completely. You can do it. I mean, and ironically, some of the biggest weight losses took place the weeks that I was traveling,
Mm.
um, because it is true. You're on the road. Um, on the surface, you are more driven by the circumstances on the surface. But in practice, you're in a hotel, you can eat whatever you want. You're going out for dinner, you can eat in general whatever you want. We had a discussion. In my case in particular, I really focus on breakfast because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. No, because but particularly in a hotel, is the one that you have the most control, and you can really load on protein and the right balance of carbs and fats. And then the rest of the day, depending on what it comes your way or the control that you have, either you consume a lot of food or you should just shut your mouth and eat just a little bit. uh, you know. So I find that I can do it. Something kind of very personal. I mean, personal in the sense that it applies to me. I have for the last 20, 30 years. I have traveled a lot, a lot, a lot. And the one thing that I do to remain sane, to have some stability in my life, is I do prioritize kind of going to the gym or doing a little bit of exercise, particularly when I am traveling. So I always try to find a hotel with a gym, and of course you have to be flexible. And sometimes with Lloyd I discuss, they don't have this or they don't have that. How do we switch the exercises? So you have to be a bit flexible in terms of the exercises that you do. Sometimes a time of the day that you do them. Sometimes you can do them early in the morning. But if I am flying from the US, to Europe for 3 or 4 days, waking up at 6 o'clock or 5:30 to work out in the morning is like very, very hard because the time zone difference doesn't actually help you. So then when I am in Europe, I switch to working out late at night. Which helps me to kind of manage dinner, because that forces me to keep dinner light. So you have to find ways of doing it. But if you prioritize it, if you think that you're doing for yourself, earlier this year I went to a talk. There was one of these speakers, and he was great. And one thing he said was he had personally gone through a difficult time in his life. He was working too much, and I think he ended up having a stroke. I think he shared. He said that the best thing you can do for the people you care is taking care of yourself. And he said many things, but that's the one that remain with me. The best thing you can do for the people you care is taking care of yourself, which works very well in English. I tried to translate it to Spanish, and it doesn't work. But in English works well. And that's something that I haven't written in a post-it note and put it on the wall, but I have it in my mind, very present. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's really, if you don't take care of yourself, then your family will have to take care of you, and maybe not necessarily even physically, but if you are concerned for, if your health is a concern for the people that is near you, you become a burden for other people, and you should try to avoid that. At least that's my mindset.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I really relate to that. Like, your health is a foundation for everything, your relationships, how you lead people, the energy that you bring to like a leadership role, which, a lot of guys, watching this are probably going to be in similar positions, leading people, putting out fires within the business, having to deal with a lot of responsibility. Having a really strong, healthy foundation is going to help, obviously, with that. And it also presents you as a really strong role model as well to the people that are looking up to you potentially in other parts of the company and things like that, which I think is amazing. I know a big part to your success has also been working with Lloyd as well. So Lloyd, I can do this interview without shouting you out, and Francesco has shared how great kind of you've been during this whole process. So like, Lloyd, like, what have your thoughts been on kind of Francesco's transformation, and what are some of the things you think that have made this really successful?
I think what Francisco does really well is he does the hard stuff, and he does it well. So like you mentioned there with the traveling and stuff like that, it's not easy to do it, because you have to put your mind to it and you have to stick to it. It's so easy to kind of fall victim to grabbing a bite to eat in the airport from a fast food place, or kind of skip at the gym, things like that. But what Francisco does really well, especially like with the travel, is taking time to still accommodate these things that he's learned on the program and the stuff that he does at home. And he doesn't just throw it out the window because he's going on a trip for 4 days. He still sticks to it as part of his routine. And I think that's really important, because if you spend weeks building towards something, and then you just throw it all away in a 4-day period just because some things change a little bit, it's really hard to do. And I get it, when it's a vacation or something like that, you might want to let loose or something. But if it's part of your just day-to-day routine, it's part of your job, you're traveling and stuff like that. I think what Francisco does is just, sticking to it. It might not be, exact. You can't weigh everything, you can't do everything. But if you just have the principles and you do it well, then you're going to still see the results, as Francisco has. So yeah, I think that's one of the main things. I remember, like, right at the start, some of the issues that he had was, with food, right? And it was kind of dining out, and it was like making the right food choices. So, Francisco will probably be the first one to admit that he absolutely loves cheese. And cheese was the downfall at the start, right? It was that thing that was kind of bumping the calories up quite a lot, but you're not getting a lot of output from that. So, you're getting a lot of calories, but you're not getting a lot of food. And I see this time and time again with plenty of clients, and it's the same thing. They all say the same. When they come onto the program, they say that they're eating more, but they're spending less calories on it. And I see it with everyone, they're like, I'm full. I can't eat the calories you're giving me. Whereas before they were probably eating, 1,000 more calories than we were giving them, but they weren't full and they were just eating and eating. Whereas now, if you just change your diet around slightly, you can still accommodate the things that you enjoy. You don't have to get rid of them. Francisco still has cheese, but if you just limit that in certain times, that's when you can see the really big results. And I think that's what Francisco's done really well. And of course, the training, he never misses a beat with the training as well. Like you said, even when he's away, he prioritizes that. A few injuries have come up here and there, but we've managed around that. We've put things into place. Like we haven't just stopped training just because of an injury. We make sure that we're kind of like rehabilitating that area and just changing some exercises around. So, if he's got issues with his shoulder, for instance, we're making sure that we're adding in some extra work. Like I think one thing that he's like really well is like using cuffs and kind of taking that joint pain away, then kind of using a D handle, which is driving a lot of force through joints sometimes. So using things like cuffs and things like that has been a really good addition to his training and has allowed him to train, pain-free most of the time, which is really good.
No, that's awesome. That's amazing. Anything to add to that, Francesco?
No. I'm glad. I mean, I smile hearing what Lloyd has to say to me. He's very supportive. He's very supportive, but never heard so many compliments. Thank you, Lloyd. Yeah. I mean, in terms of I had a few injuries, but my mistakes of doing exercises. Another saying, you cannot teach new tricks to an old dog. I am an old dog, but I have learned many new tricks. I mean, I have failed many exercises and Lloyd corrected them. I had some injuries because of bad posture doing the exercises. I had shingles. Do you remember when I got shingles? It was like insane in the middle of the program. But even through that, I was, shingles is a nasty thing. This is a little ad. Everybody should get vaccine against shingles. But of course, I could not work out. But I really focus on the diet. And actually having a healthy diet when you are not doing well is actually the best thing you can do for yourself. But regarding the exercises, when I didn't feel comfortable with the form or something, I film it. Lloyd saw the videos. He made some videos of himself doing the exercises. He sent me his videos from other people as well to correct the form. And I think I have improved the form in many things.
That's awesome. That's absolutely amazing. And final question, Francesco. I mean, people that maybe are considering joining this program, what would your kind of words be to them? Maybe they're on the fence right now of thinking, should I do this? Should I not? What would your advice be to them as someone that's come through the program?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you, I mean, honestly speaking, if somebody is considering and they can afford it, first of all,
Yeah.
Please go ahead and do it. I mean, there's I think why, I mean, it's gonna sound like so silly, but I think like, why didn't I do this earlier? The program is not, I mean, you have guidelines, you have a structure of how to make it happen, but then you customize to the needs of each person. And as I said, I work with Lloyd about travel to different time zones, small injuries here and there, the needs of one week to another, or the viability of equipment. You will adapt it and it works. Of course, it's not magic. It's not that Oliver or Lloyd says, eat this and do this exercise and it will happen. I think we have to meet on halfway. You have to put the time, have to put your mind a little bit, put your mind into the program. And as Lloyd said, do what you need to do to make it happen. If you are traveling and at 5 you finish working and you say, okay, well, this is cocktail hour, and then you start drinking at 6 o'clock and you start, chewing cheese and nuts in the bar, and then you end up kind of, I'm not gonna say drunk, but lightheaded at 10 p.m. and then you go to sleep and you do that every day. It's not gonna work. You have to think, okay, today I have to work. I have to work out. Today I have to do exercise. I have to continue with the program, manage calories and so on. So they have to meet you half of the way, and they have to have the interest in doing it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
100% agree. Yeah. And I think we never market this as a quick fix or a magic pill that, you just join the program and you magically get these great results. It does take, some portion of effort. It does take, buy-in from you to want to make the change. But I think if someone's willing to do that, like yourself, you've seen some really, really good results. And, we've really enjoyed actually working with you. We're going to continue working with you. We thank you for your recommendations as well of places to go and visit when I'm traveling and things. So we really do appreciate that, Francesco. So yeah, thank you again for coming on. It's been great to have you on the interview.
Oh, thanks to you. Thank you.
Awesome.